Right now there is a petition to have Eugenia removed from her social platforms, at least temporarily. I want to go through and give my thoughts and opinions on the entire situation, but I do want to start off being completely transparent with everybody. I was recently contacted by another YouTuber, Pastel Bell. She's made a lot of really great videos on this topic, along with so many others, and I'll link a lot of relevant videos in the description, so make sure to check out all those videos because I'm not going to go over everything everyone has covered. But she reached out to me asking for me to support this petition that has been going around. Now, I did look at the petition and I agree with it. It calls for YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram to step in to temporarily remove her from these platforms while she receives help. And I'll also link this below if you want to read the full thing, but it also goes on to explain that YouTube states in its TOS that they don't allow content that encourages dangerous or illegal activities that risk serious physical harm or death. For a long time, I've wavered on what to do with this, whether I should speak out or not. I've had a lot of doubts in whether or not I should say anything because I have been heavily criticized before in the past for doing so. I've made excuse after excuse to keep my feelings on this to myself. It has taken me quite a long time to get to this point where I'm sitting down and choosing to speak out about it, because throughout the whole thing I have had this voice in my head that says, what if? I know Pastel Bell was reaching out to YouTube support and hoping that they would give a response. Unfortunately, they responded saying they don't see that it is a violation of their terms of service. So that's frustrating, and I guess my hope that is if there are enough signatures on this petition, something can be done by someone, because clearly there's no one in her personal life that will do anything. There is nobody that has access to her in any way to be able to do anything that knows her from afar. And the comments and concerns from people who say things online, as much as I feel you, and I think it's so amazing that there's such a large community of support around her, I have to be honest and say that I don't think your comments saying that you're concerned for her are doing anything other than actually fueling the fire. I feel at a total loss as to what to do to help. I've seen other YouTubers in their videos also express the same feeling of helplessness on the topic, and what it comes down to is that the only thing that can be done is if these social platforms take action on their own. I know that it's a long shot because there have been so many attempts at this in the past that have failed, but I cannot help but feel like there is a strong need for something to be done. There are so many people that are being hurt by this, including her, that I can't just sit back and brush it off when I know that I could at least use my platform to say something about it. I really do think that if there are more people that are willing to sign it and put their name on something like this that they believe in, it does have a higher chance of catching the eye of these social platforms, which could give her an actual chance of getting help. And since Pastel Bell did reach out to YouTube support and they wrote back saying they don't see how it's a violation of the terms of service, maybe enough people saying that they disagree will have an influence on that opinion. But whenever I think about Twitch, it confuses me even more because I actually got temporarily banned on Twitch one time for holding a glass of wine in my hand. And the reason for the temporary ban that they gave me was that I was showing examples of self-harm. Self-harm was the reason that I was banned on Twitch, because I had a glass of wine in my hand. So I don't see how they wouldn't make the connection here. I know this is a very stressful topic to discuss. I feel a lot of anxiety in bringing it up. I have stayed silent on it for a long time, largely because of that, but also because I didn't know that I would be able to help, and because I had seen over and over again her mention in videos that she had a physician of some kind. It seems like she kept mentioning over and over again, I have a doctor, I have a doctor, I have a doctor. So in my head, I took that as, you know, as some kind of a small sign that maybe she was at least seeing somebody. But I saw a video recently that made it very clear that she was not anymore, and made me feel even stronger that I should be making this video right now.
Well, that's your opinion, Russell, you know? Like, I really feel like I'm, like, doing fine and everything. I'm not trying to, like, say that, like, oh, my body is, like, healthy for, like, everybody to have. Like, I'm not saying that because people get so mad. But, you know, I really feel like I'm okay. I don't really see why, like, it matters so much to people, like whether they think like my body is like healthy.
You don't understand why it matters so much to people. Well, first of all, people care about you. People care about you. It's not just always the influence that you have on other people, which you do have, but they're legitimately concerned for you because they care about you. And if you see anybody that you love hurting themselves in this way, you're gonna want them to be better. You're gonna want to make sure they're okay. So at least acknowledge that, like, this is coming from a place of love. I feel like it's very quick for anybody who expresses concern to be labeled as a hater, and I'll get more into that later, but a lot of the people that I see leaving comments like this are people that have themselves been through an eating disorder, have themselves been following her for years, and do care. And it's not coming from a place of like bullying or trying to put her down or make fun of her or anything like that. It's genuinely a place of love and concern. And I would just have thought at this point maybe she would have understood that. At least I would have hoped.
Do you go see your doctor? I don't feel like I have to see a doctor right now, guys. Like, I've gone like to doctors in the past, like when I felt like I had to go. But right now I feel okay. So yeah, I don't really feel like I like have to go right now. So yeah.
I'm sorry. That was really hard for me to watch. I remember I had to put my phone down for a second and just think about it, because that was one of the tiny threads holding me on to not saying anything, was thinking that she did at least have medical care ongoing in her life to some degree, even if it was very small, just something. But seeing that, and also the blatant disregard behind it as though she's totally fine, is scary to me. It's so heartbreaking to think that after everything that's gone on, there is still this flat out denial of a problem. Whether or not she truly believes that, or she's just trying to pass that off to her audience as though she doesn't care and it doesn't bother her, I couldn't say, but either way, it's bad, because it is perpetuating the idea to the general public, which is, honestly, a lot of her fans are young girls, no thanks to Shane, who brought an even larger group of young people to her fan base. A lot of young girls are now watching this, seeing her in the way that she looks, thinking, that is okay, that is healthy, that does not need medical treatment. I will get into this later, but that will kill you. It does. It has a high death rate. This is no joke. This isn't some cute little thing. And let's be real, nobody's looking at the outfits thinking how cute the outfits are. People are looking at her body, and she knows that, and she's perpetuating the idea that this is okay.
But yeah, so this is it. So you guys, I'll fully show you. So you see, it's like kind of like a, like there's like little squares on this. It's not really like fishnet. I'm not trying to say people should look like me. I'm just kind of existing, you know?
You're existing on a platform with 2.2 million subscribers. You're not just existing. And I see this idea spouted by her time and time again in streams and in videos that she doesn't want people to try and look like her. And I think I've actually heard her before say, I'm not trying to influence people.
I'm never trying to encourage anyone to try to like have my body or lose weight or anything like that. Or even like, you know, at all trying to like influence people.
While being a social media influencer. You can't say that now. You can't say that whenever you have a platform of 2.2 million people, that I'm not trying to influence anybody, because whether or not that's your intent, that is what you're doing. And whenever you're 26 years old, you would think that you would be able to have enough personal accountability to acknowledge that. Intentional or not, that is the effect. And if you move a little past this blatant denial of a problem that you've seen her perpetuate time and time again, that's the story, right? I'm fine, everything's fine, smiles. If we go past that and we somehow convince ourselves that she's unaware of the influence she has on other people, then you would ask, okay, well, at least age restrict your content, right? At least put it so that it is not able to further harm these people who may already be struggling or who might struggle. At least put an age restriction on it so it doesn't do that. But again, she sits back and says, I don't have a problem and I don't see why anything I have should be age restricted.
But I consider age restricting my content. You're worried about impressionable children who watch me? I'm really sorry you feel that way, Lots of Peaches, but honestly, you know, no, I don't really think there's a reason for me to age restrict my content. I'm not really posting content that is like 18 plus or anything like that, so there isn't really a reason for me to age restrict. Like, the truth is, like, I'm not uploading content that is like 18 plus, and there's just really no reason for me to have to age restrict, you know?
I really struggle feeling like there is a complete lack of awareness of what's going on. For a long time, I viewed her as somebody who just was sweet all the time, and I'm not saying she's not. I'm just trying to express that To me, it seemed like she was totally naive and in the dark about all of this for a long time and just didn't have the understanding. But the more I watch these videos and the more I see her do things like blocking people who criticize her. She's recently gone out of her way to try to have a small channel taken down that used clips from her Twitch stream that she felt made her look bad, so she tried to have the channel taken down. Like, she is not unaware of what's going on. She's actually going out of her way to silence any dissent as best she can. So that's a new struggle for me because, like I said, for the longest time I viewed her as this just innocent person that had no idea what was going on and didn't understand. But I am realizing now, unfortunately, that I do think she understands and is making a conscious decision to continue doing something that she knows is hurting people. Do I think her intent is to hurt people? No. But do I think she knows that that's what it's doing and is choosing to move forward with it anyway? Yes. Why is that? It could be for a lot of different reasons. I mean, there's, first of all, the first one that pops into my mind at least is the financial benefit. This is her career. She recently had a stream where I saw she made $1,100 in tips from one person, which actually got kind of awkward because he went back in a later stream asking for her to refund him because he wasn't in the right state of mind and he gave it to her, which is all very weird. And there's all the money that she gets on ads. And I want to point this out really quick, guys. Whenever she has a thumbnail that shows her body more in it, it gets a significant higher number of views. It's very apparent from just looking at her channel and seeing what she's uploaded that the videos showing more skin have twice, 3 times the view count. You are rewarding this, and I'm not trying to shame anybody because I understand it's very hard to look away sometimes at these things. She sees this type of content does better for me, I'm going to do more of it. Whether you're leaving a negative comment, downvoting it, saying that you're concerned, it doesn't matter. You are showing her that, hey, this thing is successful, this thing is getting me the attention that I want, I'm gonna keep doing it. So no matter how good your intentions are going into it, the best thing would be to not go into it at all, if that makes sense. Her videos are monetized while YouTube does seem to censor any video that talks about her, which is very odd to me that they're playing this game of favoritism. They won't step in to put a stop to things, but it certainly seems like they're okay fueling the fire. And I want to talk more about this fueling the fire because that is a lot of what these comments of concerns are doing. And I know, like, those of you who are leaving comments about her saying that you're concerned or worried, I know you're trying to help her. I know it's coming from a good place. And I think, honestly, just I read through some of these comments and I'm blown away at how many great people there are in the world that have such a big heart and really care. And I'm so thankful for all of you who have been doing those types of things. But I really truly do think that it might not have the desired outcome that you're going for because you might hope that she sees that and it wakes her up in some kind of way and makes her realize something. But she's been doing this for a long time, guys. She's been doing this for a long time. She knows what she's doing, and those types of comments are validating to her in a bad way. It is validating that she's doing something right. If you're worried about her, if you think, if you comment on her body that you're worried it looks a certain way that you're concerned about, in her mind, that is processed as, okay, validation, I'm doing the thing I want to do and I'm doing it right. There's a woman who recently died from anorexia. Her name was Josie. There's this whole interview about her. It's in German, so you might have to watch it with the subtitles on in English. I will link that below. It is incredibly moving. I actually watched it again earlier today. And the interview was meant to be posted. She was excited to see it, but she unfortunately died before it had a chance to come out. And her parents chimed in saying they still wanted it to be posted to spread the word. And when you watch it, you can see how she feels about it. You can see her struggle. She's not displaying this toxic positivity you see with Eugenia. She's very self-aware of her problems. She's very sad. She has tears in her eyes for a lot of it, saying how it's something that she really struggles with and she wants to get better, and how hard it is. It's so, so hard. And she does talk in that video about some of those comments that she would get too, of people being concerned, of people wanting to help, of people saying, oh, you look too thin, or whatever it is, they're comments of concern about her eating disorder. And she, just like I said, would process those and interpret it as Good, I've achieved this that I wanted to achieve. This is a sign that I'm doing the right thing and I'm gonna keep doing it now. So my plea to you is, even if YouTube doesn't step in, or Twitch, even if these platforms don't step in and actually temporarily deplatform her, you can still do your part in not giving attention where it will breed more of this negativity that you're seeing. She doesn't want your help. She didn't want my help. She doesn't want anybody's help. The only person that can actually make her get better is her, and the only way she'll have the space to do that is if she's not constantly in the spotlight, thriving off these comments and these views and this disapproval, honestly, that makes her feel like she's doing the right thing. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about this idea of toxic positivity. She's mentioned it a few times in her stream, and I mean, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. The first place that I really heard about it, and maybe where she heard about it and felt the need to defend herself, was from Repsion's video, where he talked about the toxic positivity with her. If you don't know what toxic positivity is, I found this interesting little clip that explains it.
We all know those people that are always happy, shiny, and utterly optimistic about everything. Toxic positivity is the refusal to see the negative, even when it's the elephant in the room, while solely focusing on the positive. Instead of facing reality as it is, it chooses rather a fake it till you make it attitude, artificial smiles, and brushing anything undesirable under the carpet.
That to me makes perfect sense. There is this constant elephant in the room that is ignored, that is brushed aside. I mean, it is so amazing to me how many comments she will get throughout her live streams expressing real concern that she just so easily moves past and ignores. And her famous catchphrase is, "I'm sorry you feel that way." And you'll just see her say this on repeat all the time. "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm fine." And that's all you get. And that's all I would get originally whenever I had my first few conversations with her on these things. Just the smiles and the "don't worry about me, everything is fine." And that's just that's the script. That's what everybody will be told from now until the end of time, that everything is fine when you know it's not fine. It's just avoidance at its finest, while there is this elephant in the room and this perpetuation of the idea that everything is fine and dandy and happy when you know it's not, is very dangerous. It's toxic to her, and it's toxic to the young viewers that are watching her now, thinking that this is okay and idolizing it. And here's another example of Eugenia taking something serious and brushing it aside like it's nothing. Now, I know the story of Josie Maria is sad, and Eugenia probably doesn't want to talk about it, but the way she completely brushes the entire thing aside and then goes back to how people give her compliments kind of blows my mind.
Hey!
Love you so much. Did you know who is Josie Maria? If not, you should look into her story.
Oh, I heard a little bit about her, and I'm really, really sorry what happened to her. And like my prayers and love really go out to her and her family. I think what happened with her is super, super sad, and it's a really, really sad topic. But anyways, no, I think when people say that, I mean, I think it's really sweet that people like give me a compliment. And I appreciate that they say something nice about me.
Josie did not behave in this way. She knew that what she was doing was dangerous and that it could kill her. She knew she had a problem. She knew that she was fighting against this problem. She wanted to be public about it because she wanted to show people and educate people about this struggle and how she was trying to move past it. She did not have the attitude of, "I'm fine, everything is great." Her attitude was, "This is terrible, it kills people, and I need help, I'm in trouble." That is the message that young people need to see. That is the fear, honestly, that needs to be instilled into young people that are seeing this type of behavior, thinking that it's okay. They need to know the reality of it. And I'm not trying to be morbid, and neither was she. Shortly before she died, she talked about how this will kill people, and it killed her. And it's so devastating and heartbreaking. And I know people don't want to hear that. People don't want to think about it. You know, it's easy to put on a smile and say, "I'm fine, everything is fine," but you're not fine. It's dangerous. It could kill her. It could kill you if that's what you're struggling with. And it's important to acknowledge that and get help. You can't just do this toxic positivity and pretend like everything's gonna be okay. And I know a lot of you have been struggling because you see this and you want to speak out about it, and I think that that is amazing. I've been following her subreddit, and I see so many people that are fans of her, longtime fans of her, people who are or have been suffering with similar things, and they just want to express their love and concern. And if you do that, you're blocked, you're labeled as a hater, and that can be really hurtful. I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying how heartbroken they've been over that because they're such avid fans and they care so much and they relate and they're struggling too, and then she just blocks them. You're not a hater because you left a comment of concern. You're not a hater because you reached out to her in some way and tried to help. You're not a negative or a bad person for trying to do these things. But in my honest opinion, at this point, I do truly feel that the less views and the less comments will lead to less of an incentive to actually continue down this path. So I'm gonna wrap this up with that sentiment in mind, and also remind everybody again that at the least, I do think signing the petition could be a great way to help if this is something that can be presented to YouTube or Twitch or Instagram or Twitter or wherever. If enough people have signed it, I do think it will hold a lot more significance to the people who are looking at it. I'm not trying to be mean by saying I want her channel deleted or removed or taken from her. I actually feel pretty terrible in saying that, but I do know that there are so many things that are being taken from these comments and used as inspiration to continue down a really dangerous path. And I think more than ever, time away from social media is important and necessary to properly heal. That's what was going on before Shane, and it's going to be difficult to get back there, but the least that we can do really in this situation is try with this petition and by backing off of her social media. That's it. Stop commenting on things and watching things and sign the petition. I really, at this point, nothing else has helped. Nothing else can help. Those are the only two things I've got. It is a mental illness that's controlling, and it wants to be constantly fueled, and it will seek that out in all different types of forms. And I believe that the internet is the biggest one, where the body checking can continue, where the comments of concern can make her feel like she's doing something good. There's no benefit at all that social media will provide to her at this point, and certainly not to the young people watching. So please consider giving this petition a read through, sign it if you feel so inclined. I will link it at the very top of the description. I've really struggled with this for a long time, trying to help and find ways to do the right thing, and I have felt time and time again pretty hopeless, and this is something, just something small to hopefully move things in the right direction. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.